and welcome to the podcast that must not be named. I am Melissa.
I am Luke.
And we are here with our end of book spectacular, talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Woo! About a shout out. Cheer, everybody.
Yeah.
We made it through to the book. All right. So these ends of book discussions and fun episodes in between books, we get a chance to really kind of open the doors and thank a lot of people that help us make these things happen. And especially we started our Patreon in the middle, towards the end of this book, and we really appreciate the support that you guys have given us. And we sincerely thank you guys all for considering joining us, you know, in our endeavor to continue this with all of our shows. And it means a lot to us. Special shout out to our patrons right now, including Bailey, the Praetorian Guard of our team, and also Terrence from Hogwarts Radio. So definitely check them out on Hogwarts Radio, and check out their Patreon as well. They have some really cool stuff on there. But it really does go a long way to help us, and we enjoy giving you guys more special exclusive access and content and things like that. So check us out at patreon.com/stateimaginary, and we'll keep doing this.
So it is not just Luke and I here today discussing book 3. We have the podcast that must not be named panel. So to go around the room and introduce each of you. I'm going to start with our first time reader, Riley.
Hey, what's up?
How are you today?
I am fantastic today.
Excellent. And then we have our Quidditch correspondent, Abby.
Hello.
How's it going over there?
Oh, it's good. Real good.
Something.
Sunny, 95, feeling great.
Awesome. I hope your air's working.
It is.
Okay, good. Then we have our private eye detective, Sly, Benji.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you.
And then we have our target audience perspective, Lorelai.
Hi.
How's it going?
Tired.
Excellent.
Still.
Theme. All right. And we are here discussing all of our superlatives and notes as we are going into this book. So I just kind of want to open it up. Does anybody have any overall big thoughts that they want to share about book 3 before we jump into our superlatives?
I was right.
Because?
Extrapolate.
James Potter was a stag. I was right.
Good job.
I got it.
Point. Right.
Yeah, put that one on the trivia points so I'm not going to get anything else.
Interesting. I'll throw it out there. Interesting book. It does have a lot of setup and everything for later to come, and so it's good to get through it and move on.
Okay. Abby, any thoughts from you?
I want to stay within, I'm not sure if this is overarching, but I don't know where else it would go. I would say this read through was the first time and maybe you're just supposed to think this and I never understood it, never got it before, was that Crookshanks was working with, the dog, possibly? I've always thought she was just kind of independently going after the rat because it was a funky rat. You know, she knew something was up, I always thought, but I never realized they were kind of working maybe together. And this time when I read through, it was like so clear to me, and I was like, how, 20 years later am I finally just reading this? Way to go. So.
All right. Lorelai, any big thoughts from you?
No.
Well said.
Concise.
All right. So we're going to jump right into our superlatives.
Sure.
All right. Luke, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So, first before that, we have an overall cover illustration discussion, right? All right. So, does anyone have the hardcover book with us today?
Yeah, I do. Or the hardcover?
Hardcover.
No.
Well,
I do. Hold on.
yeah. Melissa, I know, has it. All right. So, just to give it a real quick description, as I'm going to pull the jacket off, as you should.
No, the jacket
So
stay
you
on.
can protect it.
It's a jacket.
Now our book looks just like Abby's.
Abby, would you like to describe what yours sees?
Yeah. Your special edition over there.
I'll unmute my microphone first.
That'll
Thank you,
help.
Google Chats, for showing me. You must unmute first. Perfect. Well, personally, I'm not a huge fan of purple, but I must say this violet shade really does complement the pine green very nicely. I was searching last night about what color would you call this, so I went to the good old trusted site Google. Fun fact, pine green was introduced in 1949. Official color.
Official color? Is that by the Crayola organization? Who did
Crayola.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, I'm going to show it to the screen real quick, to the cameras. So we are talking about the original Scholastic edition, printed in 2000, right? And the main things I'm seeing going from left to right on the back cover, we see the Stag Patronus kind of on the edge of the water. We see nighttime sky, a bunch of Dementors. Looks like a cat, a rat, and a dog, maybe, near the Whomping Willow. And then we get kind of towards the spine, and we start seeing brickwork of the castle itself. And then we see the hippogriff with Harry and Hermione on its back, and I would guess that's potentially Sirius Black
Behind the bars.
behind the window, through the window there.
And then over on the inside cover is a rat as well.
Ah, okay. So over here we have a cat and a rat, or a cat and a dog.
Cat and a dog and
then
a stag.
over here
Yeah.
we have
The
the rat itself. So
I think it hits a lot of high points.
I think so
Yeah.
too, and doesn't really tell you anything other than Harry and Hermione are going to ride on a hippogriff, which we have no idea what that is before you open the book.
Right.
So I'm gonna say it's probably not a dog. It's probably a werewolf. On the left side there, are running out towards the Whomping Willow. But because if you look at the moon, it looks like it's being shifted to.
See,
Like-
I think it looks like a crescent moon. Not
It does
necessarily-
kind of look like a crescent moon, but I'm kind of reading it as a lunar eclipse, and that's why the moon didn't affect him that night. I'm assuming, but
I think it's supposed to be serious.
okay.
I don't think that's
fine.
because, well, we don't really know what it looks like when he turns into a werewolf, but I would imagine it's still humanoid-ish, at least size. It's a good question. I don't know. But good. I like this illustration. It's a lot of pieces, like you said, but doesn't really give any story away. I mean, get
Right.
a lot of key information there, though. So, with that, let's get into our superlatives, and we will go from right to left. Lorelai, what was your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter was the Marauders map.
So chapter 10.
Yeah.
Any particular reasons? What do you like about that one?
The Marauders map was very good.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's fair enough. So you like the introduction of the map itself and Harry being able to use it.
Yep.
Perfect.
It becomes so iconic too. I think for all Harry Potter lovers, it's a good chapter.
I agree. Benj, what is your favorite chapter?
Chapter 4, The Leaky Cauldron.
Okay, why?
It expands the wizarding world. And it gives Harry that sense of freedom of being able to just do whatever he wants. It's every kid's dream is to go to Six Flags or go to Disney World by themselves. And this is kind of that. This is kind of the, hey, you're safe. Just don't leave. Go have fun.
Yeah.
And it's a fun, opening, and get a lot of it. We get introduced to Crookshanks. We get introduced to a few other new characters or repeating characters, and it's just a good, fun, expansive build.
Cool. Abby, what was your favorite chapter in this book?
Well, I'm gonna go with chapter 15, the Quidditch Final.
So fitting.
Yeah. One, I really do love sports. Two, I am the Quidditch correspondent. So when you win the Quidditch Cup, I think you must pick that as your favorite chapter by default. But more than that, I think the writing in it is so fun. Like you feel like not even, I'm reading a sports report. You feel like you are hearing a live broadcast of, over the radio, what's going on. I love that aspect of the Quidditch Final here. I think it's the best sporting event we've seen so far, reported wise. And oh my gosh, like Lee Jordan is so funny. It's a nice win. It's a feel good chapter.
I agree. That's a good chapter. I like that chapter. Riley, what was your favorite chapter?
Yeah, so my favorite chapter was chapter 19, The Servant of Lord Voldemort. It's right after, it starts with Snape showing up in the Shrieking Shack, and then, we just break into all this action and backstory about the Marauders, and a little bit more backstory, not too much, because that happened in the previous chapter, but there's just a ton of action, a lot of magic being used, a lot of tension between friends. Definitely for me, the most climactic part, of the story, and, has a big twist in it when we are finding out about Pettigrew. So I'm a sucker for the action. I think she does a good job writing it, and, yeah, it's just a good chapter.
I agree. It's all one calendar day.
Yeah.
That was kind of our catchphrase from those sets of chapters, but I agree. That's a fun one. All right. My favorite chapter on this one was also Chapter 4, Leaky Cauldron. And when we first started this podcast, Melissa and I quickly decided, okay, what's your overall, like that was just something you naturally talk about. What's your favorite chapter and everything? You clearly knew yours. I clearly knew mine. And this is, I'm pretty confident, my favorite chapter in all of these books, because it's the Home Alone thing. It's exactly what Benji was saying. It's Harry finally gets a chance to live as a wizard, not a wizard at school. He actually gets a taste of the true wizarding world and what that means to be a part of it and be welcomed into it. Even though there may be some oversight that he's not aware of, it's not really restricting him. Like you said, he doesn't need anything else. This is just awesome. And it seems so fun. 2 weeks hanging out, eating ice cream every half hour with Florian Fortescue. Come on. That sounds awesome. It's just, I love the feeling of that and how JK captures real wizarding world with people coming in and out of town and him just being a fly on the wall for this and just being immersed in the world for the first time. I love it. Melissa, what was your favorite chapter?
So this is hard because I like a lot of chapters in this book.
It's a good book.
It's a really good book.
Really good book.
But I went with chapter 7, The Boggart in the Wardrobe, because I feel like this was the first time I really fell in love with Lupin.
Loopy for Lupin.
Yep. And like it was such a good class, and I love that Neville was so successful, and I love that Snape was an idiot in it, and that was fun. I like that Lupin even kind of stuck it to Peeves a little bit with the Apipsky charm, with the gum shooting at him, like just different things, or the Wadawasi charm, whatever it was, getting the gum to Peeves. It was good. It was a decent class. We don't get to see classes that much. I like when they learn the things.
You sound like a teacher. I like when they're actually learning at school.
Well, they're at school. It's nice if they're actually doing school stuff.
Right.
And it's a teacher who, like, knows his stuff, which is...
It's the first time that we've seen a Defense Against Star
Right?
teacher know it.
I don't know. It stood out to me as a really good Lupin moment. That's all. Cool. All right. Now we're going to get into our worst chapters. What was your least favorite part? I'm going to start with Benji. Benji, what was your least favorite chapter in this one?
See, this is a tough one because there really wasn't a bad chapter, but the most boring chapter, or I guess just because it's another build up, Outpost. Chapter 1. It's a sweet reintroduction again to the world, to Harry, to what he's going through, but it's all stuff we've done and seen. There's only one bit of news from that chapter, one bit of story progression that comes up in that chapter, and it's the newspaper from Ron, that comes back later to play in, but besides that, nothing really important happens. So if I had to pick one, I went with Outpost.
All right. How about you, Riley? What'd you pick?
I picked chapter 2, Aunt Marge's Big Mistake. As we all know, I hate the Dursleys. I don't really like anything that they're in. They're not fun to read. I mean, they are, and what he does to Marge is funny, but this book got me thinking, this chapter, I guess, got me thinking, it's so... it's ironic to say it this way, but the magical part about this book is the magic, right? I love that there's magic, it's Wizarding World, you can do crazy things. I don't like that she put in this thing in the books, and it makes sense for the situation, but I don't like that she put in this limitation on not being able to do magic outside of school, because even though it logically makes sense for the kids to learn safely at Hogwarts and stuff, I wish we could see more, and I hate that we're limited to him not being able to do magic at home where it can help him and get him out of his situation. But, I don't know, this chapter was slow, and I just wanted to get to the story at that point, so.
Okay. All right. Lorelai, how about you? What was your least favorite chapter?
Trelawn's and tea leaves.
Why?
I don't like Professor Trelawney's class. Because I feel like I would do terrible at it, and it just doesn't sound fun.
So anytime we see Trelawney, that's going to be your worst moments of the book.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, you're gonna die, and you have an enemy. You have an enemy, and everyone's like, yeah, we know that. Thank you for the information. Just nonsense.
Okay. All right. How about you, Abby? What was your least favorite chapter?
Sorry, teacher, I didn't do my homework. My dog ate it. I didn't pick one. That's all. I didn't pick one. I don't have one. I tried to go through and think, and I was like, no, I just don't have one. So, N-A.
Well,
Chapter 22.
Not applicable.
Here's what's funny. I picked one because I felt like I had to, but I felt the same way. There is no terrible chapter in this book. At least with the first two books as we were reading through, there were specific chapters that I read going, oh my God, kill me now. This chapter's going to be the death of me. I'm thinking of you, Norbert, the Norwegian Ridgeback, right?
Yeah. What about 2? Aragog? Maybe?
Not nearly as bad.
Not nearly. As
No,
bad,
I don't remember what it
That
was.
was fun though.
But there was one that like, I
For
just
book
remember
2.
reading going, oh my God.
Yeah.
But in this book, not a single chapter made me feel like, it didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
At all. It didn't feel like, this is the most boring thing I've ever read and I'm gonna, no. I will say, if I had to pick one, I went with you, Benji, the Outpost, because nothing happens. It's just your standard introductory chapter, except it's a better introductory chapter.
Way better
than
done.
the book
Yes.
before.
That's what I was going to say. Not standard. It was like 10 times better.
It was 10 times better, but compared to the other chapters in the book, it wasn't
Yes.
as good as the other chapters in the book, even though we started out 10 times better than the last book.
No
which is-
Dobby, so it can't really be that bad.
What?
There's
Bite
no Dobby in this book, so it
your
can't really be that bad.
tongue.
I can't disagree with that statement. Abby can.
I can too.
Okay. All right. And then Luke, what was your least favorite chapter?
I really do overall agree with the sentiment that this book is pretty decent all the way through. There's not a single chapter that through the whole chapter is like, man, this is weak. You know, there are no really weak chapters. Even if it's a little bit boring or the retelling portions, it's done so much better. And the storytelling, the writing is so much better that especially in book 1, there were some rough ones in there. That 11, 12, 13.
The entire 5-chapter section.
Yeah. It was, we had fun with that, but I'm actually going to pick Aunt Marge's Big Mistake as well. And it's not because I don't like the story. It's not because I don't like how it's written. It's because I don't like it by design. You're not supposed to like Aunt Marge. You're not supposed to like how the Dursleys are treating Harry. And it's done so well. And that's why it's my least favorite, because I hate the guttural reaction of just dirty, nasty that she is. Aunt Marge is the worst. Way worse than Vernon Dursley.
Nope. Petunia is the worst.
Petunia's the worst.
Petunia is the worst. Vernon is second.
No.
Marge is only terrible
No.
because she doesn't have all the information.
No. Let's get back into that. I think maybe final thoughts. We'll have everyone go off on how they feel about Aunt Marge, but she's garbage. I hate her. She's garbage, and she lives in a garbage can,
Stand
and I
there
don't
in
like
your
her.
wrongness and be wrong.
Listeners at home, let us know what you think. Even though I know the one person listening, I know what they think.
On a
And she
scale
agrees with
of
Melissa.
just needs to be taken out trash to
Just-
dump. Where does it?
I'm
Where's
biting
fall?
my tongue for a few more sections.
Go ahead. How do you feel about it?
No.
Let's do it. Let's just do it real quick.
You know,
Do it real
'cause-
quick. Or do you have something later?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so then that's all of our worst chapters, right? Everyone's said their piece.
True.
Let's go on a happier note here. Best character. So whole book MVP, your favorite character, however you want to justify saying this is the best character, we will listen. Riley.
Lupin.
Lupin.
Easy.
Reasons.
He's the best teacher Hogwarts has ever had so far that we've seen, I think. Best class that any of the kids have taken so far, I think.
That's a bold
Yeah,
statement.
I can see it
The most
having some
the
supporting
most
to it.
practical
Yes.
class that they have taken so far.
Okay.
And Lupin, even though I fought against his actions a little bit in the last section, not this
16
last
through
16 through 20,
Yeah.
he still at the end of the day kind of saved everyone, and even though he turned into a werewolf, he was just a bad dude the whole book. He was doing it right and fighting through his illness, and Lupin's just a great guy. And I love that he's friends with Harry's dad and cares about Harry and sees it in him and like takes him under his wing. I don't know. I like that.
All right. Abby.
I also picked Lupin, one, because turning into a werewolf would be convenient in some situations.
You can relate a bit.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it just happens. Full moon hits, you just gotta howl.
You just gotta
It just
rage.
happens. Yes.
Great for mosh pits.
I feel a lot like Sirius is getting set up here because he is Harry's godfather. To feel that space and void and family that Harry has lost. But like Riley said, he has taken him under the wing, and I think Lupin has been probably a more fatherly figure to Harry than anybody at this point. He has certainly had people care about him. Dumbledore has certainly taken an interest already, but not in the way that Lupin day to day seems to be involved in his life. So I think Lupin's awesome.
Benji.
MVP.
Lupin's a good character. Questionable things he's done that lost his spot on my list for number one. I went with Harry. Harry, and it's kind of a cop out, I guess. But from the beginning of the book to end of book, Harry goes from losing his stuff, losing, his head and blowing up his aunt without even trying, to literally stopping Sirius and Lupin from killing Pettigrew out of anger and hatred, and using, having the sound mind say, we need to bring him back to the castle, because if we bring him back and he's dead, he's just dead. You're still screwed. We need him alive and he had that mindset to, no, we need to do this. And then also on top of that, using the logic of, because I already did it, I knew I could do it with, producing the Patronus. It's like, yes, it's a complete roundabout circular logic, but it's like, once you've done something, you can always do it. Even if you actually haven't done it, but you've seen yourself do it. Yeah.
That weird self-confidence that I've done it, so I can clearly do it, so let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
Lorelai.
I love Lupin, but I went with Hermione on this one. Because she did so many classes and she worked so hard all year long and helped Hagrid and, didn't scream at the boys. She was just awesome in this book. She did so much to help. And that's why she's my favorite.
That's my favorite. She's my favorite.
You bring up a good point that even with all of her work that she did, she still found time to help Hagrid when the boys didn't. So I'm glad you jumped on that point.
Yeah. Her integrity
I would have thought they would
intact.
I would have thought they would have valued their friendship more than, rats or broomsticks. So that's a good pick, because she does keep her head. Even when she loses it, she still has the tact to be a good friend.
And she still looked out for Harry, saying, you don't know who this came from, I'm helping you, even if she knew they were going to be mad.
Yeah, she stood up for what she believed was the right thing, and that's very commendable. My favorite character, and I put this in here as a joke because I knew I'd get Melissa to do a happy dance. I put Crookshanks.
I know.
And I'm not really going to say Crookshanks. It's Lupin. Lupin, I think, is the best character in this book. And shout out to Crookshanks. Good character. I hate cats, but Crookshanks is a good character. But Lupin is the mentor that isn't obligated to do this for Harry. It's not Hagrid who has this job to go and retrieve Harry and then becomes his friend and kind of a father figure, sort of, by nature of their past dealings. It's not the godfather Sirius who is obligated to do this, even though he wants to. Lupin chooses to help Harry because he knows that Harry has no one. And yeah, he's got friends at school, but nothing like what Lupin can offer him. And I think he does a great job throughout the entire book, not even getting on how effective he is as a teacher, which is very, very good. McGonagall is the other phenomenal teacher, just to be fair to her.
Yeah.
But Lupin just comes in, gets his points across that, hey, we're gonna have a fun time, we're gonna learn, but we're also not gonna hold you to the standard that Snape is trying to when he substitutes that, hey, yeah, you guys might not be where you should be because of your past teachers failing, but it's my job to get you up to speed, and I think he does a great job. So, Melissa, who's your favorite character?
My favorite is Lupin, which should be obvious because he was the best. That's it. He's just the best. He was the best teacher up for this year. I don't think the best overall. Sorry, really. I gotta go McGonagall on that. And I think for all the reasons you guys said, he's amazing, but at the same time, he keeps his head in situations. You can tell that he's somebody who has dealt with a lot of adversity in his life because of who he is. Because when Ron and Hermione started attacking him for being a werewolf, he doesn't get mad. He doesn't shut down. He takes a breath and he keeps going as the teacher in the room of, yeah, okay, you're mad at me. Oh yeah, okay, you don't, but let's think through this logically. Let me ask you those good questions. Let's keep going with the conversation. And that shows a lot of integrity on his part. Along with the fact that, I like that he's friends with Harry's parents. He knew his dad, and he has that connection. I think it's the first time Harry has made a connection with somebody from his father's past. So for Harry, that was really important.
Yeah.
Lupin's awesome.
Lupin is awesome.
Lupin for the win.
Loopy for Lupin.
For me, close honorable mention is Sirius.
I agree.
For how limited he's in the
good.
book,
Yes.
as Sirius Godfather, I agree.
Just what he went through.
And what he had to
Azkaban.
See, I'm gonna go opposite. I think the most dedicated to what they chose to do, Pettigrew. He stuck with being a rat. He
sold the character.
Now, is it a good character? No. Is he a just or, good person? No. but it's a very good character.
Yeah.
I put it that way. So.
I can see that argument. I can.
All right. Let's jump into the worst character, though. Who was the worst character in this book overall? And Abby, I'm going to start with you.
Sir Cadogan rides again.
No, he's the best.
He's the
No.
worst.
Honorable
Okay,
mention for
so-
best.
No, I picked him because he was my favorite person to be frustrated with, or not that I didn't like him, but he was so fun and like, I don't know, he just makes you like, oh my gosh, you know, like,
let's go.
and you're just like, I don't want to go to class. Yeah, exactly. He was so perfectly frustrating. So I really loved him. I loved to be annoyed by him. So he is my best of the worst.
Lorelai.
Lonnie. I hate her.
Oh,
She's
breaking my heart.
Like, I don't care about her class. Her class is dumb and useless. What will it help? Like, at all. Literally, how will it help?
She can tell you when the Dark Lord's coming back, maybe.
But that's a
Maybe.
How is it going to help you in the
Maybe.
future? Maybe.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So,
Do you see that side of the room, the logic that's going on over there, and the dreamer side over to, you know, this side of the screen?
so dreamers and
Yeah.
logic based?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lorelai's team logic all the way. High five.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, it's dirty hippie.
Keep going, Marla. You have anything else to say?
The class is useless. That's it. It's useless.
Real quick, the only thing that I'm going to say about divination is that I agree. We kind of talked about this a little while ago, but I agree that it is useless for like a lot of the kids because I don't think everybody's going to be able to do divination, and a lot of them are never going to be able to do it, and it is useless in that fact. But I think there's a small percentage of those kids that do have that innate divination power, and you have to expose all of them to it to find those kids, and maybe that's what their calling is.
Yes.
And some of them, one of those kids in every class could become the world's next best divining wizard, you know?
Yes, but a teacher like Trelawney will never be able to figure out if that kid actually has that ability.
That's not
Yeah.
true.
She's not, because she is not good at this. She is a
You don't have to
charlatan.
be
She's a
good.
scam. Apart from
Dumbledore-
the two lucky guesses or two lucky predictions that she
No.
that she doesn't even know she did. That she doesn't even know she did.
I think it's an innate thing. It's such a crazy innate thing that it's hard for wizards to become masters at. And
I don't think you can become a master at it.
exactly.
I don't think there is a
and
thing,
it's
but
from what we've seen, it's the divination magic kind of channels through you as a beacon rather than you being the one.
you can't go
doing it.
looking for
And
it.
I don't disagree with any of those things, but I think she's a terrible teacher
Sure.
because there are people in the world who are very, very smart and very, very good at what
Yeah.
they do and suck at teaching.
Yeah.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you
No,
have the
yeah.
ability to get that out of other people.
But
She doesn't.
But we don't know if there's anybody else who even can do it. And for something like divination, you don't need to teach it. You just need to be able to expose, to find kids that could expose
And you think
themselves
she
to
is?
it. I think
she's
she has
clearly,
enough.
She's clearly building some confidence in the kids that are interested in it.
Yeah.
Pavarti and Lavender are
Yeah,
all in. Maybe
exactly.
they have a touch of it, and that's why she pulls them underneath her wing. And yeah, maybe it's worthless for the rest of the kids, but those kids are given a chance. Everyone's given the fair shot to actually find out. And even if she is a fraud for some of the claims that she makes, she's still trying. She's trying to instill confidence that, hey, this could be a thing. I mean, I feel like it's a questionable class, I agree, but you still have to have the opportunity, and for the actual use of her prediction, entirely useful. Knowing that it's a true prediction, yeah, it's entirely useful.
I'm gonna go with the dirty hippie side of the room over here. Great job, boys. Good points. But my last point is,
It's the Ravenclaw in me coming out, like question mark.
but my final thought on it would just be, she's not necessarily wrong with any of her predictions. She's just misinterpreted the signs. This is not an exact science. There is no
Also known as lucky
right,
guesswork.
wrong. Sorry.
Doubt them. Sorry.
He's being
Oh.
mean.
Oh, it's okay. But there are people who are going to believe in, like, even here in a magical world of this, like, extra magical, not, like, substantial, you can touch it, scientific based thing. And she's just misinterpreting signs. And like Riley said, I don't think she gets to choose when she can use her powers. she gets this opportunity, it funnels through her or whatever, and I mean, yeah, maybe her class is whack, but I mean, what else is she supposed to do? Here, look at these balls. Maybe somebody will see something. I saw something once, and apparently I'm the best divination lady in the whole world, so I love her. I think she's awesome.
All right, we're going to wrap up our Trelawney hate, unless, Lorelai, you'd like, since you started it, would you like to rebut against any of their arguments? No, you're good. You still don't want to be in her class? No. I don't blame you. All right, Benji, who was your worst character?
All right, so I'm going to bring this back to earlier discussion. Aunt Marge. She is the worst character. She is worse than Vernon, worse than Petunia, because at least they, not reasonably, but at least they have a reason to hate Harry. Harry was thrust upon them, taking away from Dudley and everything. They have a reason. She has no reason. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't know that he's, a wizard. She doesn't have any logical or reasonable reason to not like him or to treat him as badly as she does. She is the pure evil character, and if you listen to other shows, you know I kind of like the pure evil character sometimes. She's the pure evil character, but we don't have a reason why she's pure evil.
Oh, we absolutely have a reason why she's pure evil.
Okay.
Melissa has an idea.
Okay. I would love to hear.
But now I know who doesn't listen to our show.
Right. Thanks.
This
So,
is 26 weeks ago, or 23
I want you
weeks
to
ago.
imagine that you hated somebody with every fiber of your being.
Okay.
Hated.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you talked about this person, you just went off, right? And talked about how horrible this person made your world. As your sister, I would take your side no matter what. If it was that bad, as a sister who loved you, I would take your side. That's what Aunt Marge is doing. Aunt Marge is taking Vernon's side unconditionally because she loves her brother. The reason why Vernon is worse than Marge, in my opinion, is that Vernon is knowingly doing this against a little boy who he knows is a wizard. Marge does not have all the information. And I feel like if she had been told the information, had been told how his parents actually died, had been told about the wizard thing without getting Vernon's biased stuff at her, if she had just been introduced to this kid and this is what it is, I think she'd be a lot more open to not saying nice necessarily, not giving, not like, hey, come live with me, but I think she would be more understanding because she raises animals and understands that kind of thing. Whereas Vernon and Petunia only focus on their one kid all the time and choose to hate Harry, and Vernon has influenced Marge into hating Harry because he has only given her a negative view. She has never been able to develop a positive view because of the influence of her brother.
But, okay, taking it back to our situation.
Mm-hmm.
If I was saying, put me in Vernon's shoes, I was saying that to you. You as a decent person would probably say, you know what, Vernon, you're being a little harsh here. Why don't, I mean, I get it, you get drilled and drilled and drilled, but it takes a decent person to actually stand up to that, and say, hey, maybe,
But isn't that making him worse for not seeing it even in the first? No, see, I think, I'm not saying she's great. I'm saying he's worse. I mean, I agree with you. Yes, I probably would be saying like, okay, really, dude, chill out. But I also would want to believe my brother that, oh my God, his world is so terrible. Look at you being so nice for taking this kid in, and look at all these terrible things he's doing to you, because like, I could see that. So, Abby, you've got a thought.
I wonder what the Vernon and Marge's mother and father were like, what their childhood was like. I think that they both, Benji, as a decent person, if he was like, dude, this kid's the worst, I think I would question him. But your point of you hating somebody so strongly makes me that's a good point too. Siblings, we have each other's backs, So I wonder, are they just products of their own upbringing? Is that how their lives were? And they are good friends and have each other's backs because maybe, I don't know if there's other siblings, but they were the only two against abusive parents. Something like they just seem like really broken adults.
And I'm not saying either are good. I'm saying because Vernon chose, because he has all the information and has only given one side of it to Marge, he's worse because she doesn't have enough information, and she has the potential to have made a better choice if she had more information.
I don't know. There's also the difference of neglect abuse versus direct trying to hurt Harry abuse.
Yeah, because she lets her dog go on him unquestionably.
Neither are okay. I mean, hey, I'm not one qualified to say which is worse, or if there is a worse. Abuse is abuse. That's the end of it. Both of them are awful. I don't think there's really a degree separation. They're both awful for their own reasons, whatever they may be.
And I think on the note where Benji was saying how and you were talking on the fact that Marge was influenced, sure, by Vernon, and using that sibling example, I feel like if you hated somebody with every fiber of your being, Melissa, and I was your sibling, I would probably, yeah. But I would back you. I would back you up, but I would question, like, as a decent person, yes, I would question it. Sure, Marge, let's say she's not a decent person, she doesn't question it.
But she's not.
Well, yeah, no, yeah.
I'm not
But
discounting that.
going on with that, she also, I feel like in our example, if I wasn't a decent person and was just like, I wouldn't question it, that's fine. But there would be parts in interactions where I would see you treating him like that, and I would probably, like, not say something. You know, I would probably just, like, let it happen. That's my extent of not being a good person. You know, I would just, maybe just let it happen and not say anything. She actively pushes the abuse onto Harry way further than anything. She doesn't just, you know, sit there and back him up, and, you know, whenever Vernon says something, maybe she also would say something. No, she actively pushes the boundary and is on the attack and makes it worse.
See, I feel like one bad week versus the entire time you are home, I would rather take one bad week. And that's not a level of abuse that, you know, like you're saying, we can't quantify what's better or worse. It's both awful.
Oh, yeah.
But as a personal feeling, I would rather deal with Marge for 1 week or 2 weeks than the Dursleys as a whole, enduring them for 11 years plus summers.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Give me a dog bite.
Final thoughts. Lorelai, do you have any thoughts on Marge versus Uncle Vernon?
No.
Okay. All right. I think that's enough on her.
Yeah.
and him. Great discussions though. It's tough. And how do you quantify which is worse? I think we came to the conclusion they're both awful.
In general, the Dursleys are terrible human beings.
So let's get to other people's worst characters.
So Riley, what was your least favorite character?
I don't want to talk about it.
Why?
Because I'm going against my house.
Would you like me to say it for you?
I'll tell you what he has written here.
So my least favorite character this book is Snape.
Oh,
Head of house. You're going to lose points for that.
Yeah.
Negative 500 points.
Listen, I'm a big fan of Snape, alright? I'm going to back him up every day. You know, he's misunderstood, cares about what he cares about. He's a passionate Slytherin, great example for the house. That being said, he sucks in this book. He's not a good character at all. He doesn't really do anything that helps to where the point where I don't just think that we're seeing evil Snape through the lens of Harry, who is what I'm used to seeing, and so that's why I back him up and defend him. I think he's actually just being a jerk a lot and like going too far with some of the things and just holding on to that childhood grudge a little too much and not being level-headed as level-headed as I thought he was previously. So now I'm like getting this feeling where, yeah, okay, maybe he is actually not the greatest guy that I thought he was. I thought he was just misunderstood because we were seeing it through Harry's lens, and you know there was something behind that we'll find out, which we have, that there was a meeting, not a meeting of the minds, a head-butting, the exact opposite, butting heads of James Potter and Snape. But I just think he was not great in this book. It makes me sad, and I hope he redeems himself soon.
I will cross my fingers for you.
Long live Slytherin.
Yes, dear. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do mine, and I have a tie. It's a 3-way tie, actually. One of which is Trelawney. High five, girl. Thanks. Okay, high five, Lorelai there. Because Trelawney, I think she's just annoying. My other two, no one's mentioned. The first one, for obvious reasons, is Pettigrew.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh my God. Shh. Pettigrew, for obvious reasons. Not only is he like the bad guy, he's my least favorite kind of bad guy.
Yeah,
wimpy bad guy.
The wimpy bad guy. The like self-serving, I'm just gonna go with the people who can protect me best. And I can't go against Voldemort because, I can't stand.
Actively do nothing.
Yes.
And make that a negative thing.
Or like the wishy-washy, I'm gonna go with the side that can protect me best because I'm a weakling, so I'm gonna go with the biggest bully. Those kinds of
Wimpy bad guy.
Yeah. They drive me crazy. But there was one person who annoyed me just a little bit more. Simply because this person had more annoying parts than just Pettigrew at the end. Are you ready? His name is Draco Malfoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone say Draco?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did. He is an annoying little git who doesn't listen to teachers, who is a whiny brat baby, who milks his injury, which quite frankly, he was not injured that bad, so boy, get over it. And then actively goes out and tries to, sabotage Harry at games.
And Hagrid.
And then gets his daddy on the line. Oh, my father's going to
Do
hear
you
about
know
this.
who my dad is?
I don't care who your dad is. So yeah, like, he's not the big bad guy. He's not doing super evil things that are overarching
He's another
to
wimpy
the
bad guy.
story. But he's constantly doing those little nitpicky things, and I just want to flick him in the head.
I think it's because you're a teacher.
Probably.
He's just the annoying kid at school.
He's just a wuss.
But he
Yeah.
annoyed me even when I wasn't a teacher.
He's the worst kind of wuss. Like, he's the bully that, yeah, as soon as you punch him and he goes running off crying, going to mom.
And then you get in trouble.
And yeah, you get yelled at, you get in trouble,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, yeah, no, I can definitely,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, he's not like the worst person doing the worst things.
Right.
He's just the most annoying. He's like
Yeah.
nails on a chalk.
And the chalkboard is your face.
All right, Luke, you're last.
Snape.
Snape.
Snape is the
Snape.
worst.
Yeah.
Severus Snape.
Dumbledore. No, Severus Snape is literally the worst. He is so ratcheted up on how bitter or slimy or just get over yourself, man. Like he's called out for it in the Shrieking Shack. Are you really going to let a boyhood grudge basically have that be the only reason you're going to ruin this innocent man's life? Like, really? You're playing judge and jury and executioner here because a trick was played on you that they got cold feet on and pulled back? Like, get over it, man. Like, grow up. You're supposed to be an adult here. That's not an adult.
Adulting is hard.
It's not that hard.
No, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. Get over yourself. And
Decent.
he's been terrible in the past couple books, but instantly, when we get to Hogwarts in this book, it is so ratcheted up that, hey, something is going on with him and Lupin. Harry is especially put underneath Snape's microscope this year, and he's just got it out for everybody. He's actively going against Dumbledore here, trying to go on behind his back with Fudge. It's like, come on. Like, it's just ridiculous. I can't stand him. You had a thought, Benj?
I had a honorable mention for worst character just for, I would say the worst decision making. And it goes to Lupin. You had the potion in front of you. You could have seen the map, drank in your potion very quickly and gone. Or
It wasn't there.
Okay, you're right. It wasn't there, but he could
Snape
have
dropped it off because,
But
yeah.
fine. You knew you've been doing this every month for 30 plus years. Worst decision. I'm sorry. Go get Dumbledore. We always say that about the kids. Go get help. Go get another teacher. You know this is coming. You know you need to get your potion, but you just saw this. Go get
I
Dumbledore.
would say that's a pretty big mistake.
Yeah.
So I will.
To give you some validation, I agree with that sentiment. That's why I chose Lupin as my least favorite character during that section.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of the book, he like
Agreed.
seems to mix up
Agreed.
for it.
All right.
Just one bad moment.
Yeah.
One. Even right after that, he was fine.
In a pretty passionate moment that he's like, holy crap, my best friend is like actually innocent. Like that's like seeing red in a positive light. Like, oh, I have to go help him because if he hesitates, he who hesitates is lost. And guess what? Sirius's soul could have been lost because Harry might have killed him. If Lupin didn't show up right when he did, Harry had every intention of destroying Sirius. I don't know if he's capable of it. I don't know.
Right, but
he would have tried.
Wanted to.
And I don't know. He who hesitates is lost.
Thank you, Captain Wittershins.
Right. All right. So let's get on a more light topic again. I like how we ebb and flow on these. Let's talk about the best illustration. Riley, what was your favorite illustration of this book?
My favorite illustration was chapter 18, Cat, Rat, and Dog. Need to go look at it. Yeah, so it's a picture of a wolf, a black wolf. And I'm assuming it's, I don't know if it's black, it's in a black and white picture. But, I'm assuming that's Sirius. And I just really like the way that it's drawn. It's like kind of slyly stalking around, and it's just a really well drawn wolf, and like wolves are my favorite animal, tied for it. So
Between that and dragon, right?
no, lions. We're talking still non-extinct animals.
Not extinct.
Yeah,
Clarification.
extinct animals, dragons for sure, because they are real. But
What the cake?
Yeah, no. So I just like this illustration. It's cool.
All right, Ben.
I went with chapter 20, and I believe that is the Patronus, or no, the Death Eater's Kiss, or Dementor's Kiss. Sorry, Death Eater's Kiss. Dementor's Kiss. It's Harry, who we know now is Harry, standing in front of a group of around 8 or 9 Dementors, many swarming on him with the wand in the wrong hand, so that is an issue. However, he's producing the shot to repel the, and actually,
that is the Harry 1,
no,
not Harry 2.
I know, but I'm saying he's actually standing over. I've just noticed this over a body of someone else, probably himself. Standing.
Oh, it looks like Hermione.
No, that's Hermione. Okay. That's Harry 1.
Yeah,
for
it's hard for me to determine from my screen. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is actually his failure at the repelling. Right. So okay, but I like this shot. It's well illustrated.
Mm-hmm. Lorelai?
Chapter 12, the Patronus, because I feel like when you flip the page and see this, you really want to read that chapter. You want to find out what the heck is going on and why is there a suitcase? And why does Harry look so freaked out? That's what I felt when I flipped the page.
Yeah, why is there a hand coming out of this suitcase? That's funny. Abby?
Well, to be really not difficult options. So I picked the first picture of the book.
the title page.
Yes.
One more backwards.
So
nice.
I think you kind of get everybody in there. It's a nice little rat who I would assume is Sirius.
The rat?
A win? Yes. No. Yeah, the rat looks serious. Like this is going to get bad. It's serious for him. And possibly the Whomping Willow out the front. Yeah. I think it's just a good depiction for the book overall. It doesn't give really anything away. I'm sure there's lots of rats at Hogwarts, but looking back after you've read it, it's a pretty good illustration.
That's a very creative answer. I like it. That's because it's well chosen. I like the picture, and I definitely would not have thought about looking there, honestly.
I wanted to pick it for book 2, but I was like, oh, that wasn't an option. And then book 3, I said, I'm going to do what I want.
So maybe for next book, we'll actually, on our cover illustration, we'll throw the title page.
I'm going to forget.
I'll make a note.
Okay. I always forget about the illustrations.
Every chapter.
Every single
I'm going to
time.
make a clip of all the outtakes of, okay, what thoughts you have? Well, let's talk about the illustration first. Like every chapter.
Every time.
All right.
I'm consistent.
Melissa. Or no, I guess it's mine right now. Yeah, so mine is also chapter 20. And I love the wall of Dementors. It's intimidating. It really gets to the feeling of hopelessness that Harry has here, and it makes sense as to why it's just not working. Like, he's just overpowered in this Patronus, which, when we see him do it over the lake as quote-unquote James, that's his second time of truly doing a full Patronus, because even Dumbledore's like, yeah, we saw your full Patronus during the Quidditch match, so this was his second official true casting. But I just like how huge and daunting this task looks like for Harry here, and it just really plays into, wow, I'm screwed, right? Like, I'm screwed. And I like it. I like it. It's well drawn. Melissa.
My favorite illustration comes from chapter 4, The Leaky Cauldron. It is a cage full of the monster book of monsters that are attacking each other. And I like this simply because it calls to mind a song lyric. Despite all my rage, I am still just a book in a cage.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes, I will say for the most part, I did not like these illustrations nearly as well as some of the other books because, and we talked about this in our chapter, some of the illustrations are wrong. Mm-hmm. They have Harry using his left hand. They have Snape.
That's one thing I forgot to mention in mine. I do like that he's using his left hand and he's also wearing the cape.
Yeah. He's wearing a cape again. Yeah, that's
like, where's the cape come in?
It's a cloak.
There's two different.
No, it's a cape.
It's a cape
in the picture.
It's a cape.
There are two different pictures where Harry is left-handed.
One was one of the Quidditch ones, right?
12.
No. Yeah.
Lorelai's favorite with the boggart and the.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The Quidditch one is another one with the cape.
Yes.
Maybe he's ambidextrous.
Not according to what he tells Ollivander in book 1.
Yeah.
But he might just, even ambidextrous people usually write with one hand. I usually write with my right, but I could do it with my left if I had to.
Snape is apparently left-handed as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, that's underhanded. Not cool.
It's an insult to us left-handed people all over the place. Okay, we're going to jump to your favorite line, and I'm going to start with Lorelai. Lorelai, what do you think was the best line in this whole book?
Shall I make a cup of tea, said Ron, Harry staring at him. It's what my mom does whenever someone is upset, Ron mutters, shrugging.
That's what my mom does.
Isn't
I
that
love
what you
that
do?
line.
I don't know. Yeah.
So what'd you like about that line?
He's like very uncomfortable and like very awkward. He's like, I don't know what to do.
With my hands.
I'm not so good with
Would
what
you
is
care
it?
for a hot drink?
Sentimentality. Can I interest you in a sarcastic comment? How can I help you out here?
Yeah, that's why I like it so much.
All right, Benji.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.
It just encompasses Harry and the twins and the Marauders perfectly. I still want to know how the heck did they figure that out? The twins, you know, because all you get is this sheet of paper. That's all you know you pulled. And what we know when you're not reading it properly, you get insulted. So how did the twins figure that out? I mean, I know they had plenty of time to work on it, but I do love that line. Just I solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
Abby.
You don't understand, whined Pettigrew. He would have killed me, Sirius. Then you should have died, roared Black. Died rather than betray your friends, as we would have done for you.
Right in
That's-
the feels. Right in the
Oh
feels.
my gosh. And like going to Melissa's point where he was like the whiny, wimpy, weak bad guy shows exactly here where Pettigrew is. And Sirius is like, dude, like that doesn't matter. You should have died then. That's what friends do. That's the right and just way to do this. You don't sell out your friends. But then to give you a comma as we would have done for you because you know he's not lying. It's like, oh, how, like you should feel very tiny, as small as a rat. Is a funny joke? No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought
It's
we were being
so
serious.
fitting. Like it's a funny pun. It's punny, but it's also so true and fitting. Like it's exactly what's going on. So that's why it's not a good joke, Abby. No, because it's too true.
Too serious.
It's so serious.
So
There's not enough time to go to class, Hermione. There's just not enough time in this book.
oh, time.
But yeah,
Time
I like
is a
that.
fickle fit friend, Harry.
Just like Fame.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm good.
She's
I
cutting
have a
herself
final
off.
thought.
She's cutting
Okay.
herself off.
All right, Riley.
Jordan, if you can't commentate in an unbiased way, I'm just telling it how it is, Professor. Like, come on.
Lee Jordan has some excellent lines in this.
Yeah, well, I mean, for one, I wasn't gonna go back and reread the entire book. I mean, if you know me, I'm just not gonna do that. So I just picked one of the lines that I already chose as a favorite line from her section. And that was definitely the top of the list. It's just, as a sports fan, as somebody who gets angry at bad calls, it's just super relatable. And this book, I will get to it in my final thoughts a little bit, but wasn't that funny. There was a few things, but in terms, like, as compared to book 2, I thought book 2 had a lot more lighter moments, and funny lines, and this was, like, one of the fun, like, probably the only thing that made me, like, really laugh out loud, while I was reading it. So, yeah, I just really like that line. Lee Jordan's a great character.
This book was more serious. Seriously.
It was a lot more serious.
Sorry, I had to.
She's being punny again.
Can't turn it off.
I'll stop. That's bad. Real bad.
Dad jokes over there.
Oh. All right. So my favorite line after divination, they go to transfiguration, and McGonagall tells Harry, "You look in excellent health to me, Potter, so you will excuse me if I don't let you off homework today. I assure you that if you die, you need not hand it in." That was pretty funny. I like that one.
I like that line.
Stupid Trelawney.
Well, that line actually cools everyone else down. I think, yeah, you guys talked about it, but it was excellently made to get everybody's mind off of it. Okay.
Deflate the tension.
Exactly.
With a really nice sarcastic comment to tell you they're wonderful things. All right, Luke, off to you.
In my favorite chapter, very end, after Harry overhears Mr. and Mrs. Weasley saying that, Black is after Harry and all these. Harry goes up to his room and is talking to his mirror, as you do. And he goes, "I'm not going to be murdered," Harry said out loud. "That's the spirit, dear," said his mirror sleepily. Just like, good on you. Have a cracker. Here's a cookie. It's just, it's such like a dour, like, I'm not going to be murdered. Good for you. Good on you. I just love it. All right. So our final superlative for this book, I believe, is the best single use of magic in the book. So any magic that's been done for whatever reason, thing that stood out to you the most. Lorelai.
The time turner, because it was very helpful in saving lots of people and animals.
And grades.
Mm.
Benji.
The most impressive, I'd have to say, is the Marauders map. Being able to detail where everybody is. Again, though, there's one thing to that. How did the twins not see Pettigrew walking along with Ron the whole time? You
for the
think
last 2 years.
for the last 2 years. Yeah, just that's the one kind of loophole that always gets thrown out. But besides that, yeah, the Marauders map just as a whole, as a piece of magical equipment.
It makes me wonder if like pets in general show up.
Mrs. Norris.
Mrs. Norris shows up. That's right.
Has been shown.
Okay, Riley.
The Marauders, not map, but them becoming anime guy secretly. It's just impressive that all of those friends did that for Lupin, and just, I don't know, once we talked about it in that section, like, I just would really, I've always had a fascination of being able to like transform yourself into another animal or something. So I just think that'd be an incredible skill. Yeah. And there weren't really, besides the Patronus charm for me that Harry used, there wasn't super powerful magic really shown off this book. So
Gertie.
I'm not going far off topic here. The Marauders map, but I'm going to pick where it personalizes its response to Snape. All these feats that the Marauders themselves had as students, I would presume them turning into animals, students at Hogwarts. That's pretty, I would say beyond grade level magic. And, but how do they every person that opens this up, they have a message do they have eyeballs in their map? It's just fascinating that it knows who is writing on them. I guess he does say, I, Professor Snape.
Master of this school, is what he says.
Yes.
It's a pretty daunting title he gives himself.
Yes. Titles. So,
Titles.
sorry. I didn't mean to. I tried to stop myself. And, I just wonder, like you said with, the twins finding out, does the map just get smarter? Does it it's like, you know what, these twins, we're gonna let you in on something. So it's just pretty interesting.
I like that. I like that potentially the map realizes the twins are cool.
Are worth
They're cool.
I've seen them in some secret passages. They're down.
It's been tracking where they've been.
Right.
So
It's like the Google Maps on your phone, if you don't know. Automatic. You can go back and check your history. I walked through my whole New Orleans trip from a year and a half ago. Didn't know it. Like, tracked.
Oh, it's there. It's there. Hey, you parked here from 10:30 to 11:45 on this day. Did I? My phone was there, apparently.
Your car is here. I know,
Right.
because this is where you stopped moving at 60 miles an hour, and now you started moving at 0.2.
All right. So my favorite bit of wand magic usage is one casual wave of his wand, and the long tables flew to the edges of the hall and stood themselves against the walls. Another wave, and the floor was covered with hundreds of squashy purple sleeping bags. I like this for a lot of reasons. I like it because the casual use of Dumbledore's brilliance it's just impressive. You know, because we see how much time and effort everyone puts into actually doing magic, how much concentration it takes. And he's just like, boom, boom. It's like, whoa, like that happened. And I'm a magical theory fan. I like wondering how this works, and highly recommend checking out Podcast 9 3/4. They just did a 3-part series on what is magic. Awesome. Definitely recommend checking it out. Very funny, very, very well thought through as they were going. Ad-libbing it most of the time, but it's good. And it opens the idea of, how does he get these sleeping bags here? Are they conjured? What does that mean? Is it transfiguration? He's transferring air particles. Is he summoning them from somewhere? They don't come flying in through the doors. Questions. And I like it. And it also, the other big reason I like this is because coming soon, hopefully, we can have our Dumby sleeping bags, large purple squashy, the podcast that branded sleeping bags with a big white beard right where your head goes.
I'm not a big fan of the big white beard part, but the rest of it sounds awesome.
And obviously has a pillow that has like a big wizard cap. So Abby, please get on that.
I wasn't listening because I was yelling at my children, but I got the tail end. I'm in.
Yeah, big squashy purple
with a beard,
sleeping bags with a beard
and a wizard
and
hat
a wizard
pillow.
hat pillow.
That you can like maybe roll it up and stuff it into the pillow for storage.
And it's
Like
just
a mat mat.
Yeah, only big.
Only
and
big.
squashy.
And squashy.
It's got to be squashy.
At one point, didn't we say we wanted little speckly stars all over the purple?
Oh yeah, it's got to be. I think it needs to be fashioned after Dumbledore's robes in Chapter 1 of Book 1.
Okay.
Purple with stars
On it.
All right, she's got fabric. All right, Melissa.
Yes.
What was your favorite bit of magic?
Expecto Patronum.
Yeah.
That was, it's advanced magic that he's mastering and pulls off by the end. And I like that it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm. You had to work at it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time we see magic and it's Dumbledore casually waving, or they're, making a little feather fly up, and it's cute and it takes a little bit of effort, but like it's a feather flying up. But this, he had a reason for learning it. He worked very hard, lots of perseverance, and then mastered it right when he needed to. So that was one of my favorite magics of all.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So I'm going to quote from Pottermore here. This is where at the end of each book, we kind of look through how many times we actually saw wands being used. And in this book, wands were used 57 times. That is up, I believe, from last book. Last book, they were used 37 times. Uptick, 57 times. The highest wand user was Harry. He used his wand 19 times. 3 of those were failures.
I feel like there's more than 3.
Maybe 3 instances of multiple times, because the Patronus at the end, at least he did it. That was at
3
least
times minimum there that he failed.
But think about it.
And also during the training.
But during the training, something came out. It's not that it didn't work at all. So I think
it just depends on how.
Yes. Yeah. Not working compared to.
Well, but he created mist at the lakefront too.
Yes. So I'm thinking there's times where, I think it's times where it didn't work at all, as opposed to not.
Okay, so it's probably almost those first 3 attempts.
Yeah, that's what I was
saying. Training.
Okay, so that's fair.
All right, I had the same thought.
Yeah,
I got it. I have an answer. All right,
perfect.
Guess what time it is?
Oh, I think it's time for some trivia.
Woo! All right, so here's how we play. We go back and forth. Luke and I each have 3 questions. I have a bonus if need be. And we'll keep points. Luke and I can't answer our own, but we can answer each other's. You will each either write down or...
Give me 2 seconds and I'll have it so that we can all input really easily into answers. I should have done this earlier. Sorry. It'll take 2 seconds.
Okay. So everybody will type in their answer. Don't hit enter. Just type it in. And at the same time, everybody will hit enter. And then we'll go over your answers.
Exactly. We have 6 questions, right?
Yes. With a possible bonus 7th if we want.
Okay. All right. Melissa, we're going to go to your question first. So again, everyone type into the box, and then once everyone has their answers, then hit enter. Do not hit it before we call time, please.
Okay. Ready? Question 1. What does Hermione buy in Diagon Alley before the school year begins? Abby, you in? All right.
3, 2, 1.
I don't see Abby. It looks like everybody got it. What was the answer, everyone? Crookshanks.
So none for Riley.
And 0 points for Riley.
And I like Lorelai's as well, but I said Ron's Rat Town. I she ended up buying it for him because he forgot it.
That's true.
This is true.
I also said a lot of books.
Yeah, because it's Hermione.
Yeah.
But yes, Crookshanks was what I was looking for. So.
All right. Luke's question number 1. If I can find it. There we go. All right. In chapter 2, Aunt Marge references a friend who was watching her other dogs and who had to put down a dog last summer. Name this friend. Not yet. Abby, not yet. Okay, take your time. We're good. We're not live or anything. Just easy.
Except for Bailey.
Hi,
Bailey.
We love Bailey. She's the best.
Is Bailey in the chat?
No. She hasn't responded to me, but I've been talking at her. As far as I know, she was watching a minute ago.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
You got an answer? Abby, you got an answer? All right. 3, 2, 1. Some of these answers. All right. Riley, what did you put?
Dobby.
Okay, so it's Dobby. Ben, what'd you put?
Sergeant Pemberton.
It's a good name, but it's not the right one. Lorelai, what'd you put? Question mark times 6. Melissa.
Captain Wittershanks.
Abby.
I went with the old standard Richard.
I thought this was...
It is. Once you say it,
it's gettable. Colonel Fubster.
I knew there was like a...
That's what, yeah.
And you got the sergeant.
I was like, I know it's like sergeant or,
yeah.
But
so
that's just one that's always stood out to me as being just like such a silly Colonel Fubster. Fubster. With an F.
Oh.
Fubster. Gotcha. All right.
Are you ready?
So do I get a point on that one?
Yes, you get the point for stumping us all. All right, question number 3. Okay. When Fred and George snatched the Marauders map, they were in Filch's office. What did they do to get them sent there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Waiting for Abby.
That is not
I'm
true.
kidding.
She's not you.
That is
I just can't spell, and then I had to admit to you all how terrible it is. Why am I on Reading Book Podcast? Okay.
Why are we on Reading
3,
Rainbow?
2, 1, enter. Lorelai, what'd you put?
Set bomb bombs off in the bathroom.
Benji?
Drop dung bombs.
I said smoke bomb.
dung bombs in the hall.
Abby.
I said setting Miss Norris's tail on fire.
They let off a dung bomb in the corridor.
What is a dung bomb?
It's a poop-smelling smoke bomb kind of deal.
So points for Luke and Benji and Lorelai. I'm counting it.
Yep, I'll count it.
I feel like I should get a half one.
For a smoke bomb,
The sentiment is decent.
I'll give you half.
I'll give you half. Abby,
I mean, yeah, Luce, it's fine.
Abby, you get nothing. Sorry, you are awarded no points.
And we are all.
Not quite. We're not there yet. We'll see.
all right, Luke's question number 2. For Harry's birthday, he received a few presents, a few letters. What did Hermione send him? And Bailey says, hey, all, now that we called her out for not.
No.
Thumbs up decisions for anyone? Right,
Hold on.
We need to start making some thumbs up choices. Thumbs up, Lorelai, thumbs up, thumbs
Heads
everyone.
down, thumbs up.
Heads down, thumbs up, 7 up.
That's
All right. Let me flip back over to that word. And everyone hit enter, please. No. See one answer. All right. So, Riley, what'd you put?
Dobby.
I want to give you a half point again, but
No.
all right. Melissa,
Broomstick servicing kit.
Lorelai,
Broomstick kit to
Benji,
clean it.
Broomstick servicing kit.
Abby.
I said a broom maintenance kit.
Broomstick servicing kit is correct. Everyone but Riley. Unfortunately, Dobby was not there. Best character. Right behind Smarmy Luke.
No. Stop.
I wish Smarmy Lucart would have been here this season. He'd helped her on. It would have been good.
That's true.
That's true.
All right. Question number 5, which ties in very well to Luke's last question. My question is, name all the things that came in a broomstick servicing kit.
And we have Bailey writing in that Smarmy is the best with a heart.
Anybody got it? Thumbs?
Riley's answers for jury are the best.
You're good? You're good? That's 2.
Go ahead.
Oh, Abby's not that good. She had like mom stance there. Do you see that?
Knock, 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 knock. I need a drink. I need a snack. A snack. Can I get a snack?
Yes. Go get a snack.
Sorry.
Are you ready, Ab?
Yeah, we'll call it good.
Yeah, Lorelai, ready? Okay, go ahead, hit enter.
It's like not going in.
Okay, Riley, what'd you put?
So I put in my broom kit. It would have polish, like broom polish for like the shaft or something. Probably like a little chisel or whittling knife to like get out any edges that are missing. Maybe some new broom hairs like that. Maybe they fell off. And an annoying house help that says he'll help you fix your room but doesn't actually do anything.
All right, I award you 1 point.
Okay.
Benji.
Snips to trim the bristles, polish and then handle polish, and a balancer.
You get 2 points. Lorelai.
Polishing, extra twigs for the end, and yeah.
You get 1 point. Abby.
I said wax, a cloth, and a broom bristle comb.
You get no points. Luke.
Broom handle polish, tail twig trimmer, and a compass.
You get 3 points. There were 4 possible
I knew there was
points.
one more.
So the first thing was a large jar of Fleetwood's high finish handle polish. Not wax. Sorry.
The same thing.
I feel like I would go with wax.
That's
and
fine. You
polish
can
being
give her
the
the point.
same.
That's fine.
Yeah.
A pair of silver tail twig clippers. Not extra things, but clippers.
I like the sentiment though.
Yes, you were on the right track. A brass clip-on compass. Lorelai, you had something to clip on it, but you didn't say what it was. I'm tempted to give her half a point for knowing something had a clip on it, but the compass. And the last thing was a handbook of do-it-yourself broom care.
Yeah.
No house elf in there.
No, I'm sorry, there's no
to
house
help
elf in
you
the
to
book.
help you clean your broom, but really he's just gonna get in the way. That was so funny.
So Riley.
All right. Final question for book 3, unless we go to the bonus. We'll see. We had one long calendar day. What was the date? Just not even year if you don't want to, but what is the month and day? Half bonus point for that. Just put answers.
Just get it right.
Just get it right. You have literally a 1 out of 365 chance.
Odds are pretty good.
Decent odds.
Put 200 down on red.
Oh no.
Wait, we're in Britain. I gotta do it that way.
Okay. They do like the date first, month after.
They do day first. Yeah. Day and then month.
That's the proper way to do it.
Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. Hit enter, please. Riley,
May 12th.
May 12th. Benji,
15 June 1994.
Lorelai,
A whole bunch of question marks.
close. Melissa,
8 June 1994.
Abby,
I said March 13th.
clean sweep. Nobody. June 6th. Specifically mentioned
Does
in the chapter,
Does it?
Buckbeak's execution was set for the 6th
The 6th of June.
of June.
Yeah.
Good call.
Why are they in
That's
school?
deep.
They go
They
to
go to the
school
end of-
late.
Well,
Yeah.
this was the end, because they just finished their.
But they still have
finals.
like 2 weeks
Yeah.
that they hang out at school to get their grades.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So 6 June
My kids,
1990.
my kids were in school on June 6th this year and after.
Yeah, and
It's
I
not that
usually
late.
am.
I've
Crazy.
never been to school in June.
So, do we need a bonus? Do we have any ties? All right, so Luke wins.
I do. And let's see. Benji takes second place.
my God.
Lorelai with
Can we
third
talk
place.
about this?
Is that right?
How I lost.
Melissa with 1. Abby with 3. Riley with 1.5. Last place, Melissa.
In fairness, that's
did give-
because
you did
my
give-
questions were the ones you all were able to answer. None of us could get Luke's.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
I don't mind. I don't mind losing this
And you-
when I can help you all and he can't.
and you also gave a question with multiple points.
That's true.
Answers.
And I can't have
So, good job, everybody. That was fun.
it. You didn't lose.
Nice job, Lorelai. Nice job, Riley. 1.5.
You are right in the middle.
I think that's the highest I've gotten.
Good job.
1.5.
You are welcome. I'm here to help.
All right. So to kind of round us out here and start getting towards the end of our episode here, let's continue on what we've been doing at the end of each book rankings thus far. I'm going to start with Abby.
All right, we're gonna go best to worst here. Prisoner of Azkaban, Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets.
Okay. So you're going 3, 1, 2.
Yep.
Okay.
I second that.
Melissa says the same. 3, 1, 2. Lorelai says the same. 3, 1, 2. Riley.
So I think Prisoner of Azkaban is a little bit better than Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone 6.
Okay. So you're
So
going
3,
3, 2, 1. Bench.
I'm gonna kind of change it up here. 2, 3, 1. Chamber, Prisoner,
I was thinking about that too.
Order, or not Dark Order. Philosopher's Stone. I just like 2 better. It has more action. It's I do. I just like it. This one. It almost feels like nothing major happened apart from Pettigrew. And I know I'm weird in my own mentality with that, but I don't know. It's a
I
good
kinda
book. I
feel
enjoy
that
it,
too.
but it's not my favorite.
Okay. Mine mirrors Riley's. I'm going with 3, 2, 1. I think this is the best book we've had yet, and I feel like the writing has just gotten better each book, which sets it apart. Books 1 and 2 had a lot of the same overall things, same ideas that she just did better. So I think 2 is better than 1, and for me, book 3 is going to be hard to beat in the entire series. I feel like the way this ends with such a big, open-ended, no real resolution, it's not like, oh, guess what? We're going back to school next year and everything's exactly starting over. I feel like there's actual consequences that start at the end of this book. So that's how I feel about it. And let's get into final thoughts. Lorelai, target audience perspective. What are your final thoughts on The Prisoner of Azkaban featuring Harry Potter?
I like it. There's a good backstory about Harry and his father.
A little more lineage, a little more his family life that he wouldn't have known about.
Yeah, not just something like, I know something from Hogwarts. Like, there's something ongoing around the world.
It's bigger. It's bigger than just the school.
Yeah, and he's still a part of it.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. Entirely. Abby, final thoughts.
This is a really good book. It's probably the first book that I read through for enjoyment. Book 1 was the first book I ever read. I'm not exaggerating. I just didn't read. And then that was interesting enough. I got through it. Book 2, Luke got me through it. And book 3, I had some friends and probably Luke also tell me like, no, you have to read it. It's so good. You're going to love it. And I started it. And I just, it had ever happened. So it's a goodie. I like this book.
Benji.
Who's up for the Hagrid challenge? 4 pints of mead.
4
mold
pints
made-
of mold mead. We talked about that.
I know.
And they're British pints, which means they're 20 ounce.
Yeah, the Imperial pints.
Boy, howdy. That's
Join us on another
at least the
podcast.
way I make it.
Yeah. So, no, final thoughts on it. Like I said, it is a good book. It's, as Lorelai said, it's, a good backstory learning about James and his history and friends and everything. It does set up nicely for what's to come. So it's fun enough to get through.
Riley, first time reading this book.
So, my final thoughts, a lot of them have kind of been said throughout this whole recording session today, but, like, Lorelei said, it was a fun book. A lot of things happened. It was nice. My thoughts on it being super serious, and like you said, the resolution's open-ended, so it's exciting for me, for the story going forward, but also I don't like that in books. I hate that. I hate when there's no resolution, but it's exciting and I dislike it at the same time. Now, in terms of the second book, there was a lot more low points in the second book, but it overall was more lighthearted and funny and witty as a book, number 2 was, than this one, I think. So, this one was kind of slow in terms of that, but there's so much character development in this story for, Harry specifically. Benji said that a little bit earlier, how in the beginning he was getting angry at Aunt Marge, and at the end he's sparing Sirius's life to do the right thing. Overall, it's a really good book, and I am just excited to keep reading because it is open-ended ending, so now I just need more. Guess we'll just have to wait for her to put book 4 out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait until it's released.
Yeah.
Melissa, final thoughts.
So I like Harry Potter books, so it was a good one.
This qualifies,
Right.
meets the criteria.
It does. Something that I always enjoyed about this book is that it wasn't the same bad guy. That it wasn't just, oh, there's Voldemort, and oh, there's Voldemort.
Or some other form of...
Oh, there's Voldemort, because who attacks Harry's baby? Voldemort. Who attacks Harry at the end of book 1? Voldemort. Who attacks Harry at the end of book 2? Teenage Voldemort. It was nice that the bad guy was somebody different. And yes, it was somebody who had betrayed his parents to Voldemort, but it wasn't him specifically. So it was nice to have a Voldy break.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be one of the reasons why I like this book so well, is that it is a departure from that standard. Harry does stuff. Voldemort appears. He gets away from Voldemort. Dumbledore explains why, though, which is what we've seen previously.
Yeah, that gets into exactly my thought as well. We're truly moving into YA literature and no longer children's books. This is the bridge of that. We're moving into young adult books, and because Harry's growing up, he's becoming a young adult, at least a teenager at this point. And so the way it's presented to us grows. And I know Melissa and I have had this discussion, but I always felt more personally connected to it because I was exactly in that age group when the books were coming out. So it felt like it was growing with me as a reader, which was always really special. I know there's a lot of people in the community that are like that, but it is growing with Harry too. As we go along, the story gets more complicated, more convoluted, and more complex and dark and scary at times. And I just really, really like the way it's done. And like I said, this to me is the true kickoff of Harry Potter from now on. Everything we've had before was fun storytelling. Hey, crazy things happen at Hogwarts. This could be anybody, but we're starting to get into true, this is what makes Harry Potter great type books. And Harry should have killed Pettigrew. Drag the body up to the castle. Hey, this is Pettigrew. Confirmed. That's it. That's it. That's all I got. Great book. I love this book.
So that wraps us up. We've finished book 3.
Ooh. Hey, we made it.
I know. If you have any thoughts or questions or comments about our episode, please find us on social media. We are on Twitter at .NAPodcast. We have a website, thepodcastthat.com. You can email us at thepodcastthat@gmail.com.
Subscribe, like, rate, leave comments on iTunes and YouTube and anywhere else you can find our shows. Hey, Benji, can you tell us about one of those other shows? How about Floats Down Here?
Okay, well, the podcast that floats down here is myself, Melissa, and Luke going through Stephen King's published It novel, his massive, massive book. We're kind of going chapter by chapter. Luke is our first time reader of that. He has never read anything or even seen any of the miniseries or the movies, so he gets fresh to all of that. So
I don't know it, and I'm reading it.
Exactly. So if you like to be scared, we are a little bit more adult, but we keep it completely spoiler free, for almost the most part, so we don't spoil Luke on anything, kind of like we do with this show here. But give us a listen. We appreciate it, and just share it around.
All right. Abby, can you tell us about the podcast that drinks and knows things?
I can. The podcast that drinks and knows things about Game of Thrones. It is an episode by episode, not really recap, thoughts, feelings, predictions, what's going on. In each episode, we are just finishing up season 3 now, which is weird. We're finishing up book 3 here for Harry Potter.
Trust me, the naming convention, I have to make sure I'm pulling from the right spreadsheet.
Yeah, right? That's coincidence, but it's fun. We are definitely, I get to watch it for the first time. Sometimes we do live, me watching horrible action on these live chats and stuff, and it's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun for the emotional terrorism we're putting her through.
Yeah, Luke, Ben, and our friend Glenn chit chat. It's a good night. Join us.
All right. So we do have other shows in the works. We will let you know as soon as we can get those out. We've got a lot on our plates, obviously, but there are a lot of ways you can help support us, and you can go to thepodcastthat.com/support us and find a lot of different things and places where you can not even give us money, but you can basically buy things and we'll get a nice little cut of that, like our Amazon associate links. We are really happy to have those. And we've started doing curated item lists for each of our shows. We have one for the Floats Down Here show with basically Join the Losers Club. You know, these are the surviving the summer toolkit. We have one for Diagon Alley. These are cool curated items for Must Not Be Named. And we also have Microfinger's Flea Bottom Emporium from the podcast that drinks and knows things with Game of Thrones themed items. We are also starting a T Public store. So we are putting our branded logos on shirts, phone cases, mugs, tote bags, all sorts of cool things, wall hanging art, and they do all the work for us, which is really cool. And so once that's up and live, please check that out. Listen to us for more information on that here coming soon. And obviously the easiest, fastest way to support us directly is going to our Patreon account and joining us there, joining the Imaginary Legion at patreon.com/stayimaginary. Get access to our local Slack channels, get access to live streaming, recording, get access to show notes as we get them done, which sometimes is while we're recording, we're getting them done. And so many other different cool tiers and rewards on there. Special thank you again to Bailey and to Hogwarts Radio for supporting us on there. We truly, truly appreciate what you guys are doing for us, and we look forward to creating more content for you, including a Patreon exclusive podcast, the podcast that Must Not Tell Lies, which is a full Harry Potter spoiler-filled magical theory and fan theories podcast, which gets pretty deep into the Department of Mysteries, and we have a lot of fun with that one. So please check it out there, and we appreciate it.
Join us next week as we jump into Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban movie, where we rewatch the movie and do a director's commentary-ish over the top of it. Then we will be taking a short hiatus, about 3 weeks off, and then we will be coming back with chapter 1 of book number 4.
It's a good chapter. I like it.
It's a great chapter. The Riddle House.
Yeah. So, for book 3, Mischief Managed, I think, we can close this one up. Stay imaginary.
Thanks.